Welcome into Tiger Den Sports. I'm your host, Jason Darcy, also known as the Blind Tiger. And in today's show, we're going to talk about Pelicans trade rumors, who should they target, and if somebody should be on a move. But do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, like button, share button, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss when I go live. So today's topics are, should the Pelicans make a trade? And the last three games kind of show you that the Pelicans are a decent team, a good team, but they're not a great team yet. Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, that's your three basically superstars on the team. Zion Williamson should be your number one player who you play through. Brandon Ingram should be number two. CJ McCollum should be your number three. CJ McCollum has bought into his role as a third scorer, third option, which is fine. But Brandon Ingram has not bought into that role just yet. He wants to be the number one. He thinks he deserves it. And you could tell by the way he plays. His game should be playing through Zion. Brandon Ingram should be shooting more three-pointers, spreading the floor for Zion to work underneath. But a lot of times this year, Brandon Ingram's shot selection is questionable. He takes a lot of mid-range jumpers, which is good. He's a great mid-range shooter, but it's not helping the Pelicans. He's not fitting in the offense that they should be playing. So if he doesn't buy in, should he be traded? Y'all let me know in the comments right now if Brandon Ingram should be traded at the trade deadline to help the Pelicans, or if it would hurt the Pelicans. Y'all just let me know what y'all thinking about that. So with that being said, let's talk about some trade targets that the Pelicans can target. I'm hearing Mikal Bridges' name, Jared Allen's name, and there's one name that's thrown out from Washington Wizards, CRISPR, I think his name is, three-point shooter. So if you go get Mikal Bridges, it's going to take a Brandon Ingram to get that trade done. But it's not only going to be him. It's going to have to be a couple first-round picks probably. So how steep would that trade have to be? I don't know. If you have to give up Ingram and a couple first-round picks and say like a Dyson Daniels or something like that, I don't know if I would do it just because you're giving up a lot of assets for Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is a really great player. He's averaging 22 points. He's a 37% three-point shooter. He takes more threes than Brandon Ingram. He's a better defender than Brandon Ingram, but he is a little shorter. He's like 6'6", 6'7", maybe. So Mikal Bridges would probably fit in on the Pelicans better than Ingram does because of his game plays to that. He would, because he played with Durant in Phoenix, so he knows how to be the second or third option. And he would do that on his team. He would play through Zion and CJ McCollum. He would get his points. He would play defense. So it wouldn't be bad to add him to the team, but at what cost to the Pelicans? So I'm not sure if that trade would happen, but it's just rumored. That's one option. Then you have Jared Allen from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay, Jared Allen's, he's not like the great name player, like he's going to change your team or anything like that. I mean, you have Valanciunas on the team. But Valanciunas is going to cost you a lot of money in offseason. He's a free agent at the end of this year, I believe. So do you trade him now? Get somebody like a Jared Allen, who's still in the contract. That's not going to cost you as much, um, but it's going to take more than Valanciunas. You might have to trade a Valanciunas and a Jose Alvarado or Najee Marshall to get Jared Allen. So these trades right here are just speculation, opinions on what I believe can happen. And I think the Mikal Bridges trade, if you trade Brandon Ingram and maybe one first round pick to get Bridges, I believe that would be the best trade for the Pelicans. I think it would help the Pelicans. It wouldn't hurt them. But if you trade Valanciunas and another first round pick and one of the young guys like Najee Marshall, Dyson Daniels, or somebody like that, I believe that that can probably hurt the Pelicans more than help. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that trade. And also that Washington Wizards Crisper, he's a three-point shooter, can come off the bench. It makes sense because you need more offense off the bench. You have Jose Alvarado, Najee Marshall off the bench, who's defenders. They're not shooters. They're not scorers. So if you can trade, I mean, Dyson Daniels off the bench is not a scorer either, not a shooter. So if you can trade like a Najee Marshall second round pick or something like that to get a Crisper that can come off the bench and score with Jordan Hawkins, I think that would be a pretty fair and it would help. And then you still got Trey Murphy, who's in a slump. Once he gets out of his slump, that'll help the Pelicans in a big way because you know how he can shoot the threes and how he can drive to the basket. We seen him last year. So right now, I think the Pelicans are a playoff team. They, 7th, 8th seed in the West, playoff team. But I do not see them getting out the first round, if I'm being honest, because they just not built to win a playoff series at the moment. And Willie Green is a defensive coach. If you really look at it, he likes to play defense. Well, in today's NBA, you cannot play defense. Defense will not win you a championship game. Championship. I know that's the old saying: defense wins championships. But in the NBA today, it's not. In the modern NBA, you have to score points. You have to be scoring between 115 to 130 points to be winning games. It's not like the old Michael Jordan days and Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman on the Bulls, where if you score 100, you're lucky. That's a really good score if you score 100 points. Most games was in the high 80s, middle 90s. I love that NBA. I mean, that was the defense, and that was defense wins championships. Nowadays, Willie Green has to step up with the times. This is a modern NBA where you will have to score points. And some of the rotations that he puts on the floor consist of Najee Marshall, Jose Alvarado, Herb Jones, Dyson Daniels, Zion Williamson. Well, Zion Williamson is the only scorer on the court. Nobody else can shoot. Nobody else can score. So they just watching Zion. They'll double team them all day and let the other ones try to shoot and score. Well, when that happens with that rotation, the Pelicans go down. They start losing. If they had the lead, they would start losing because you put a defending team on the court. And that's not how you're going to win championships if you're the Pelicans. So Willie Green needs to really look at this roster and see what can help him, what's going to hurt him, and make some changes here. So that's what I have today on the Pelicans trade rumors and targets and what I think they should do. So let's make sure y'all subscribe up to this channel so y'all don't miss when trades go down, when trades happen, because I will be the first to give them to you. So I hope y'all enjoyed this show. Hit the subscribe button, like button, and notification bell so you don't miss an upcoming live stream.